Hi, everyone, and welcome to Talk About It Tuesday. I'm Tosca Di Matteo, founder of Tosca Coaching and Consulting, and I'm super thrilled to have you meet Chris Vaglio, who's going to be my guest today. We're talking about how to use a rock and roll mindset to make shit happen. And here he is. I'm going to bring him on right now so we can do this. What's up, Chris?
What is going on? How are you?
I'm good. I'm good. What's new? What's good?
What is happening? Everything's good today. Today's a great day.
Yes, agree. I'm feeling good. I'm super stoked for this conversation.
Me too.
So thank you for making the time to collaborate in this way and share your superpowers with the world. Um, yeah, so I was
This is
saying,
exciting.
great. Yeah, I'm excited. It's funny because one of the reasons why I love that we're doing this is because we could either consider ourselves competitors or collaborators, right? In terms of the way that we serve the world. And I definitely love looking at this from a collaborative standpoint because there's 7 billion people in the world, and there's no need to have a finite mindset to say you're gonna lose or I'm gonna win. Like we can both win in the
Absolutely.
game of life. Yeah. So I usually, first of all, like we are new in our relationship, and I'm so excited for that. We've done a clubhouse conversation before,
Yeah.
and now we're kind of embarking on this. We're both really passionate about authenticity and building businesses in sustainable ways. And so I'm excited to jump in. And before we just get into the meat of all the stuff, I'd love for you just to introduce yourself, share your story,
Yeah.
whatever you want to share about, how you came to this point, and just let people know who you are.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, once again, really happy to be here. Thanks for having me on. And I echo everything you just said. It's like you meet certain people in life for a reason. And, you can absolutely, you have a choice of choosing how to view it and how you want to look at it. You can say, oh, we're competitors, so screw it, I don't care. Or you can really look at it and go, who cares if we both like it's all good, it's all awesome, like we're all sharing, we're all serving, and it's just a positive thing, like, and that's to embrace it and to recognize it for what it is, which is powerful collaborations, deep meaningful relationships. That's what matters in life. Your life is too short to be worried about competing and this and that. It's all good. So once again, I do appreciate you having me on the show, and so I'm really looking forward to this. So for everybody that's watching right now, my name is Chris Vaglio, and I am the CEO of Rocket Growth Agency. And so my journey is definitely I guess not all too unique, but I guess unique in the timing of it. So what I am right now is as I said, I'm the CEO of Rocket Growth Agency. So what Rocket Growth is I am a personal branding coach, and I specifically work with creative business owners who want to create what I always like to say, a rock star brand. And when we do that together, I can then help them to really gain the confidence, create engagement for them, and help them to bring on new clients by leveraging the power of having and owning a personal brand and really recognizing it for what it is. My background is actually rooted in video production and filmmaking. So me and my business partner, my former business partner, we met back in college, actually online, to register for classes at County College of Morris, CCM, and we met and we became really great friends, best friends. And we went to college together. Then we both graduated CCM, went down to Wayne Patterson, both graduated there. And after we were out, we decided, you know what, we're both trying to do the filmmaker route, and that's what we went to school for, was filmmaking and trying to do things, getting jobs on sets, PAing, which means production assistant for anybody that doesn't know what a PA is. And we just, we were going that route, and we just decided. Actually, Mark was the one who came up with the idea. He's like, you know what, let's just start our own production company. Like, let's go that route. And of course, it was like, yeah, sure, okay. It was a lot of thought put into that, but that's what we did. I mean, we didn't know anything about business, but we knew what we wanted to do. And that's how we started basically a 20 plus year career in video production. We grew a company that started out at a front porch of my house with just the two of us to eventually getting up to about 20 plus employees. And the company is still alive and still going. So what happened is I decided last year, right after the start of the pandemic and the lockdown we had, that certain things for me started bubbling up. And my passions, I just recognized for what it was. My passions had changed. As much as I still love creating and being a filmmaker in video, for me, I felt more of an urge and a need and a pull to really help others in a way that wasn't necessarily being done with video anymore, but a way to really share my experiences and my knowledge of being, I guess, what you want to call an accidental business owner over 20 years, but really having to figure it out with no background in business and having to really figure a lot out. And those unique sets of experiences and knowledge, I felt like I could really pass on and be of value to somebody. So I just really felt that need and urge to coach and to work with other folks. And that's where it started. And, it was a process. It wasn't an overnight decision because, there was a certain amount of guilt of, oh my gosh, I'm gonna leave the company I co-founded and I love, but just wasn't something I felt like my heart was into. And I felt like I had accomplished all that I wanted to accomplish there. And I was just ready for a new journey. So of course, becoming honest with myself was stage one, which was difficult. And then the next hardest stage was then becoming honest with my business partner and best friend for over 25 years. And that was difficult. But ultimately, we talked it out and it's great. I mean, we're awesome. I mean, we just went to a hockey game last week. So we're still really, really, really close friends. And he still is carrying on our legacy and what we built. So I'm really happy that that's a decision he chose to do. So yeah, that's still up and running. Gray Sky Films is still alive and well and still kicking. And I love it and I support it. And, I love everybody there. They're still very near and dear to my heart. But here I am with Rocket Growth Agency, a new business during a pandemic. Great timing, right? But you know what? But I also felt like, and my wife said it great. She's like, there's going to be a lot of people out there that are really going to need your help now. And that's been my guiding light through all this. And it's not BS. It really is true. Like I do this. This was all done by choice because it's something I just felt like I really needed to do. And so here I am. I'm doing it. I'm following my dream. I'm following my passion, and I'm on this new journey. So I'm ready to rock it.
Oh my God. I love everything about that story. And there's like a few things I want to dive into. But before I do that, so you're a husband, you're a dad of two, right?
Yep, two daughters. Yep, two awesome daughters, and amazingly patient wife who just is puts up with so much but is really like an inspiration, like big time to me. So yeah, my two daughters who are 21 and 17, and and my wife who is forever 29. She's amazing.
Oh my God, you don't look like you have a 21-year-old. That's amazing. Did you and did you meet your? I'm just curious. Like you had your BFF. You built a business together. Like, did you meet your wife early on too?
Yeah, I met my wife very early on. I mean, she was actually one of my very good friend's sisters. So, and we all just hung out together and we became very just close best friends. And then eventually, wound up started dating and here we are.
Oh my God, I love it.
Going on, this year will be 24 years. So next year's our 25th wedding anniversary.
Holy
so going on 24 years this year. Yeah.
Congratulations. And if you made it through the pandemic, like you're going to make it to like 75 for sure. So
that's the goal. That's the goal.
I love it. Oh my gosh. I think that says to me, about your just superpower in building relationships and for the long term, right? To have a, just to not overlook, to have a BFF, to build a business, and to be able to walk away from that and maintain the strength of your relationship. It says a lot about you and a lot about the hard work that goes into the relationships, that you build. So kudos to you for that.
Thank you. I appreciate you saying that. Thank you. It means a lot.
Yeah. Well, I look forward to us having a conversation in 25 years and say, remember when we met during the pandemic?
You certainly will.
And so there was so much in your story that I want to like ask you about. And one of the things that really stuck out, especially because part of what I do is career coaching. When you hit that moment and you realize, oh my God, this thing I've been doing for 20 or 25 years, like, isn't the thing anymore. And to be able to like see that and recognize it and make a choice to do something else, I think is incredibly hard. I don't think we are not it's not part of the education system to say, okay, guys, look, you're going to go on a road, and then at some point on that road, you're going to realize like you want to get on a new road. Like,
So true.
so
So
I'm
true.
curious. Yeah, right? Like, so tell me more about that process, like about the, like, what were you feeling when you were like, holy shit, I think I don't want to do this anymore? And like, was it hard for you?
Yeah, I mean, it's I'll be brutally honest here. I mean, it was probably one of the toughest decisions I actually had I can even remember making. I mean, it was really, really difficult because it's hard to, you know, have put so much blood and sweat and tears into something and grow it. And I really felt like, wow, I'm really walking away. I feel like I'm letting everybody down. I felt very guilty for feeling this way. Like, I'm like, why should I feel this way? This is ridiculous. Like, this is mine. I built this. I'm 50% responsible for this. Like, like I put everything I had into this. And then to start feeling differently it was hard. And I got to tell you, it's something that I didn't even realize I guess how much I had like buried it for a long time. Um, just because, it's just you're day to day business owner, you're doing your thing, you're invested. And it's just like, you just tend to sometimes push things down. It's like, whatever. It's just, but when this happened and locking, the lockdown and I mean, they talk about like, business sort of getting turned off by the faucet, like right away when something like this happened initially on. I mean, it's almost been a year ago. I mean, it's been a year ago now. Um, it was very difficult. It was really, really difficult to process. And I had to do a lot of soul searching and I talked to a lot of people. What I've always done in the past is I leverage my network. I go to the people I trust, um, and talk to about these feelings and really work it through. And that was ultimately what it came down to, was me very much realizing that this was something I had to get honest with myself on and make a decision. And actually a little bit sooner than later, in the sense of like, you know, if this is the way I'm feeling, I shouldn't just sit on it and let it dwell, because things could get worse. Like it could manifest into something very, very negative, between me and my business partner, who was also, one of my best friends, and like that turning into like a very toxic relationship, which is something I didn't want to happen. But by once again not being coming honest with myself, so it was a process. It wasn't like, maybe for some, but for me, it wasn't like, oh, I'm just not going to do this and that's it, and I'm just walking away and I'm canceling it. Like, that's just not happening. It's not
I
like
don't,
canceling a Netflix subscription.
well, no, and I don't think that that's the process. And for anybody, like, I think it would be the exception for those that can just turn something on and off after spending 20, 25 years doing it. And that's what I love, like digging into this with you, because I think especially, you know, I think maybe even more so for women, right? Feel like
Right.
quitting something, it's like failure, or saying like this isn't for me anymore is like is almost like questioning were you on the right path in the first place? Like these are the kinds of inner critics that come into our heads, right? To say like, I shouldn't say just for women. I think it's for everybody. And I think there's certain societal pressures on women and certain ones for men, right? Like that
It's,
just,
it's, it's an unfortunate truth. I mean,
yeah.
it sucks. It just flat out sucks. But it's still something that exists, and
Yeah. And I
it
think
sucks.
even, I think hearing it from you has a lot of weight too, because to know like this happens to everyone, to say like the guilty feelings, right? And like it's just so natural. So I think even normalizing, right? Normalizing like this is a human experience when, when we say, oh shit, like I think I need something different in my life, and that's okay. And
Right,
to,
which is something that's what you just said is perfectly. It's something I really had to come to grips with. Like, is this okay to be feeling like this? Like, and this is where the guilt was coming in. Like, why am I feeling like this? Should I be feeling like this? Like, oh, let me just get over this. Like, is this something I just get over? And it's just like, this was the process for me personally that I was going through. And yeah, it was weird, but like, I mean, I fast forward to now, it was the right decision, because I wake up every day and I feel awesome. I mean, I feel like
yeah.
this was for me, like in my soul, this is what I needed to do. And I think that's important. Just something that I feel like now that I'm 100%, happy I did it for myself, um, because
Mhm.
I needed to do it. And I feel like that if I had, once again, if I had let it go and buried it and said, let me just deal with it and all that, it would have gotten worse before it would have gotten better.
Mhm.
And I say that because it's not that Gray Sky or where I was a toxic environment. It was great. It's an awesome company. I love it. I love what we built there, the culture, the people. There was nothing like that. It wasn't like I was butting heads or having problems or there was any of the stuff going on. None of that stuff was happening. So I also want to preface that it wasn't anything like that. I wasn't pushed out or I just, for me, I came to a realization that, wow, like I think I'm ready for something else. And, and it's like, am I ready? I think I am. And I should really follow this through because this is what I'm feeling.
Well, you know what? And I think I'm just getting chills because I think it is when we are in good positions, that it's even harder to follow our truth,
Yeah.
harder to follow the whispers and the knocking, saying like, hey, there's something else here for you, because we're like, well, why would we leave this thing? We're fine. Versus being like, you know what? My life could actually be even so much better if I just listen to if I pay attention to my feelings, if I listen to like this other calling that I have now.
Right.
Um, and when I ended up leaving corporate, um, it was from a position of like, actually things are okay, which was actually very different from when I left other positions and jobs. It was always like at my wit's end and like time to go, and so for me, like having to make a position from a stance of like, oh, I'm actually doing all right here, and yeah, I'm gonna leave it. Like, is that okay? Is it okay to want more for myself?
Yeah. That's exactly it. Like, is this okay? Like, that's exactly it. Like, is this really okay to be doing this? And
Right.
listen, and I just also want to say this isn't something that I mean, I had these feelings and but this wasn't without like obviously talking to like my wife, who's my partner in life here, because this is obviously a
Sure.
huge change for us. And, it's a risk. Yeah. All those things, yes, I know what everybody, the financial side. Yeah, obviously, and for me, it's like, yeah, I want to get back to that as fast as I can. Um, but I mean, it's something that we openly discuss together, and you have to. I mean, it's because it affects her. It's not just, it's not a one-sided decision here. Like this is a partnership together. So, what one of
Yeah.
us does affects the other, especially when it comes to something like this, where, making a complete career change in the sense from like even going from one business to a next. It wasn't like I had a job offer or anything. Like I'm decided to just start a new business.
Right, but I love how you positioned it earlier. You said stage one is I have to be honest with myself.
Yeah.
Because like once you know your truth, then it becomes easier to have the conversations to
Mhm.
say, what do we think about this, right? Because you're not operating in a vacuum at all,
Right. Not at all. Not at all. No.
Yeah. So, okay, so yeah, I thank you for going there with me, because like I think digging into that and being like, oh right, like this isn't easy, and like it doesn't happen overnight, and the fact that you have this awareness to be like, I can't bury these feelings, I have to honor them, like is huge, because I think so many people choose to bury and say and just say, I don't want to deal with that. But you end up having to deal with it at some point, because it will eat you alive if you don't like pay attention to those signs, you
Yeah.
know?
It will. It will. And you do have to recognize it. And that's all I can say is for anybody, if you are feeling that way, is to just get honest with yourself and really take the time to sit and think it through, talk it out with people close to you. Do not hold it up inside, because was a spot I almost went down, and it would have been a horrible, horrible decision. It really would have been. It would have been probably, while I was saying one of the best decisions in and hardest, but it would have been probably one of the worst decisions of my life had I not like talked it out, sat and thought it through, and really leveraged the people in my life, um, to go through the process.
Yeah, and I think that the pandemic is creating a lot of these openings and these questionings and these, right, for so many people. That's why I think this it's so relevant to talk about, when we shift, when our callings shift, or when our passions shift, or any of that stuff. because it is normal, you
I
know?
mean, and I think that, and another question you could ask me is with the pandemic, had it happened, would I have done the same thing?
Mm.
And I think that the big question is, I don't know. I think though I probably would have, where we were based before we shut down, we were already like, on a very awesome trajectory for having this like outstanding year in business. I don't think I think once again I would have been so
Mm.
consumed with work and that I think once again I probably would have, but it would have come back up. It was always there. Just it probably the timeline would have been much more extended out. And I think at some point,
Mm.
yes, I probably would have. I can't say definitively, but I think that yes, the pandemic did accelerate it because it just afforded me the time to actually like recognize the way I felt, whereas I wasn't taking the time to recognize it.
Right, right. Yeah, it makes sense. Definitely a lot of acceleration going
Yeah,
on.
a lot of acceleration.
So, the other thing I want to ask you about, right? Like, because we're talking about like this rock and roll mindset, and the fact that 20 some years ago you were like, all right, let's just do this, let's jump in,
Yeah.
and there's a part of me that's like, okay, I think this is just kind of who Chris is, and then there's this other idea that we talked about, which is this mindset. So tell me more about what that means to you, rock and roll mindset, and how has it served you in your life?
So I'll back up a little bit because I want to put some things in a context just
Yeah,
so when we go here, like people understand like where
for
it comes.
sure.
And this is my experience. So um, back in the early 90s, back in the early 90s, I was very much, I mean, I grew up, I'll just start. I grew up like all around nothing but music, rock music, classic rock, grew up on the Beatles, as you can see, Kiss is, but I grew up on that, then eventually hard rock, Van Halen, Kiss, Ozzy, all this stuff, Iron Maiden, got very much into metal, became a big metalhead, all the stuff, Metallica, everything. And that was pretty much me all through my formative years in high school. And when I got to college, that's when I had gotten much more exposed to like the punk and the hardcore scene here in New Jersey and in New York, New Jersey. And like I was always into it and I always listened to it, but I was never immersed in the scene
Mm.
like I became in college because it was just something it was the culture and it was around. And I got very heavy into it. And I, I formed punk bands, I formed hardcore bands, I formed indie rock bands. I was putting shows on at Legion halls and firehouses and basements, and I started selling records at shows. Like so, you would have like what was called like a distribution, so a distro for short, and you would buy records and sell. It was almost like a show was like a mini flea market with like music and people selling
Mm.
music, and it was like amazing. And all this was done by kids. Like it was like a network of kids, like people like 19 years old, just doing things. And for me, it was such an amazing experience of going through that and being part of that scene and being creative and making music and meeting people. And it taught me what I realize now, or even, is that what for me, what I when I say I didn't go to business school, I went for filmmaking. That was but being part of that gave me the foundation
Mm.
for everything I use in business. So relationship building, doing things on your own, not asking for permission to do things, like just going ahead and doing it. This DIY like mentality of like, you know what, no one else is going to do it for you. And it also gave me like the confidence in myself from the creativity standpoint and just fostered all those things and taught me how to use that and just laid that very strong foundation for me then going into finishing college and then beginning to start my first business, which was Gray Sky Films, which is what Mark and I started together. And Mark was part of that too. And so that's why it was like when I said it was like literally gets out and shower and goes, "Well, you want to start a business?" Calls me up and I was like, "Yeah, sure." Because it's to me, it was the same for us as like saying, "Hey, do you want to start a band?" It was like, "Okay, yeah, sure, let's go start a band." Like, what's stopping us? And that mentality was very much our mentality of like, yeah, let's just do this. Like nothing's to stop us. Let's just go ahead because this is how we've done everything. And for me, that's why I always like to call it the rock and roll mindset because it is like you don't necessarily have to be involved in rock and roll or have gone through the punk and hard or any of that stuff. Like that's just me. That's my experience. But what I like to call the rock and roll mindset is that combination of utilizing that hey, I'm not going to wait around for permission to do things. Like, I'm just going to go do them. Like, there's nothing holding me back from doing the things I want to do except for myself. Um, and that's how I view things. But it's also having a positive mental attitude, which that didn't come from. That's not. It's that's going all the way back to Napoleon Hill and forever and ever. Like that thing, Think and Grow Rich, and positive mental attitude, and having that, because you have to have that to get through all this, to do anything you want to do. And so rock and roll mindset for me is a combination of all that. Like, being authentic, being honest, having a positive mental attitude, ready to like be able to share your knowledge and serve, but also not giving not giving a care or a crap in the world what people are going to think about it because you're doing it. Like, most of the times people are giving you shit because they're just jealous that they're not doing it, or there's a deep-seated resentment or jealousy there, and it's just like, you just got to tune that stuff out, and you learn how to do it, because once again, like, you have your own unique set of experiences and knowledge and things out there that are of value, and that's the thing that you should be relying on. And that's where, you can kind of cancel out self-doubt and things, because we all go through it. But once again, just bring it back to like that center. I am me. I've had my own unique set of experiences and knowledge that I've gained, and that's what I'm sharing. I'm not, and I feel confident in that because it did happen to me. These things happen to me. Things happen to you, and that's where your center is from. And that's it. That's rock and roll mindset right there for you. Like, not giving a crap about what people think and just doing it, and don't ask for permission.
Yes, I love all of that. And I love, I'm sitting here thinking, like, it's so transferable, right? Like your experience, right? And is serving that mindset. And so, I think that other people can consider, well, what is it in your life that would give you the mindset of you can do anything, of who gives a shit about what other people think, about like just putting it out there, regardless of the audience size, because look, yeah, there's truth, right? There's truth about certain, certain people have certain privileges, and certain people have different obstacles, but we're not talking about that. What we're talking about is like how do you honor what's inside of you, and blast through your own self-doubt. We know that there's systemic things. We know that there's other things out there externally that absolutely impact us, but it's like we put ourselves in our own cages because of our mindset, because of our limiting beliefs. And what I'm hearing you say is, like, when you think about it like a punk rock band, when you think about these 19-year-olds that just fucking did what they wanted to do, that was the times, like, what is it in your life that you can hang on to and say, like, I want that mindset,
Yeah, and it's a process. I mean, it's not easy, it does take time, and it takes recognition of doing it. But if you oops, oh, there it goes. Just saw it go. But if you're doing it and working towards it every single day, like,
right,
it just becomes then a maintenance of that mindset. And that's and it's small incremental changes every day that add up to like the overall bigger picture of things. I mean, and the thing is, I'm not saying anything that hasn't been said before by countless other authors and coaches and influencers I mean, everybody, I mean, just anybody in general. Like, to me, there's just like golden rules of like life and like dealing with things. And I think that if you want to truly make something happen in your life, regardless of what that is, like, regardless, whatever your version of success is, you can absolutely get there, but you have to change your mindset, and you have to build a routine, a pattern for yourself. You have to begin to change these things in your life, however you can do them. And they may be very small changes, but they will add up, and things will happen as you go along. It will, and it's not easy. Like, I'm not going to say, like, yeah, in a week from now, like, oh, you know what, I'm going to mail a letter to myself, and like all of a sudden things are going to change. Like,
right.
That's not what I'm saying at all. Like, it does take time. It takes work. It takes patience. It takes discipline. It takes like, getting deterred and having negative things happen, but then sort of like dealing with them and getting back on it again, and not getting sucked into like a black hole of like, and believe me, I go through it. I go through moments of that. Like, we all do. We're human beings. Like, why, that's just, I'd be lying to everybody if I said that doesn't happen to me. It does. But, I've just learned over time how to deal with it, how to pull myself out of it, how to, just recognize it for what it is. But it's taken a lot of hard work to do it. And so that's the thing. I'd rather be like here and like maintaining a really positive mental attitude than be down here and like be just in a constant state of like, um, you know, negativity and dealing with that and like just and breeding through it. So yeah, I mean, it's an interesting thing, and it's something that I've realized that has helped guide me through the years. And I feel like that's why, people go, well, why, how was Gray Sky Films so successful? How's Gray Sky Films still so successful? And I go, there's not one magic bullet. I mean, this is, Mark and I for years and years and years worked on this, and we talked, we collaborated, but we would always, we always recognize the same things: having a great mastermind group, recognizing when you need help, being an open and honest with each other, having communication, and having mindset that when things happen, to recognize what they are, to recognize failures as success, and to learn from them as fast as you can and take the positives out of it and grow, rather than like sitting and dwelling and going, oh, like poor is us or woe is me. And it's just like, no, you just got to get by that. Like recognize opportunities for what they are, good or bad, and get as much out of it as you can to then grow, because that's what we all want to do. We're all getting better, 1% better. My friend, great coach, Martin Rooney, he's amazing, training for Warriors, but he's always saying like, and I had my martial arts mentor too back in the day, he used to tell me this all the time too, like, I'm 1% better today than I was yesterday. Why? Because it's like, that's it. Those are the small incremental changes that I'm talking about. What did I do today that was better than I did yesterday? I don't know right now, but I can guarantee you I'm 1% better today than I was yesterday, and the day before that, and the day before that. And so I'd rather be 1% better today than I was yesterday than like just make this like tremendous leap, because what have I really learned and gained anyway? So, there's no shortcuts to any of this stuff. It just takes time, and that's, but like you can make it fun. You can dig into this stuff. I love this. I could talk about this stuff with you all day. It's like,
oh my God, I love, but this is important. Like, and I'm like, you see me looking down as I'm writing notes for like, after we publish this, like, that what resonates so much is like that it is the process. It isn't a matter of I'm going to put this mindset on and everything's going to be hunky dory. It's an everyday, it's an everyday journey. And we talked about this before, right? Around like this fucking industry that likes to say, I'm going to 6-figure growth in fucking 6 months. Like, fuck you. You can't promise that. And like, and right. And like the sustainable way, of building businesses or building anything for that matter, is the day in and day out of dealing with the emotions, of dealing with the self-doubt, of getting back to your mindset. It's yeah, and that there is no magic bullet,
No, there's no fast track to any of this stuff. It is, I hate to sound a little old fashioned about this stuff, but I love that we're living in a world right now. I absolutely love the energy and entrepreneurism and how many young people, but just so many people have been influenced and sort of ignited. That fire's been lit where they're like, wow, I can make changes. I can do these things. I can become an entrepreneur. I can become a business. And I love it. I love it. We truly are pandemic aside, it has done what we were talking about. It's lit a fire under a lot of people to go get those things and attain those things. But what comes along with that, unfortunately, and I'm not naming anybody at all here, but I mean, you see it, and I think anybody out there sees it. There's definitely a lot of quote unquote snake oil peddlers out there who are, yes, the fast track to this and buy the system and you'll do this. And like, really, honestly, at the end of the day, like, go read Think and Grow Rich. Like, go read The E-Myth. Go read, even Delivering Happiness or Raving Fans. Like, these books, I mean, there's so many, but that's where you're going to begin to like really get what you need to build business. I mean, and then, yeah, building relationships, like real deep, meaningful, honest relationships. That's how You want to know how Grace Guy was so successful? Well, one of the things we did was we built deep, meaningful relationships with the people in our networks. It's something I do now. It's something I've always done. That is a cornerstone to me of any business. And of course, mindset, as we've been talking about, is huge. Like, you can't buy mindset. You can't buy it. You can work with, people like me or yourself or other people to help you fight through challenges and roadblocks and help you on your journey to mindset. But I can't give someone a positive mental health. You can't give someone the mindset.
Right.
You can only help give them the guidance that's needed, the influence, and help them along their journey. But at the end of the day, you can't just make someone have a positive mental attitude or all the different things that you and I both do. Like, I could talk to people about personal branding, and I will help you to the best of my ability to get you to where you need to be. But you still got to do the work. Like, I'm going to help give you the tools and what I know and the experience and the knowledge I have, but I can't make you do it. That lies within you. So there is no magic bullet to the success of it. It does lie within you, and you have the tools, you have the choices to make out there to obtain the tools to give you what you need to become successful in whatever your version of success is. Like, not everybody's success is monetary. Some people's success is, hey, I just want to be independent. I just want to go live on a beach. I just want to go travel the United States in a trailer because I don't want to be locked down. I want to see every state in the country and have experiences. Like, if that's your version of success, then yes, go do that. Like, whatever your version of success is, like, just write it down and stare at it every single day. And it's magically not going to happen. It happens because you're seeing it every day and you're giving your brain the influence that it needs to carry out your thoughts and manifest it into actions every single day that you're awake.
Well, and I think that, there is magic in the process, right? Like, there's no magic bullet, but that when we allow, when we keep ourselves open, when we keep our heart open, I think, and when we are taking actions in the direction of our dreams, that we will, I think you discover magic in that process.
Well, magic is really you. It's the magic comes from you. It comes from you, like, realizing that things open up. Your mind opens up, your heart opens up. You begin to become more perceptive of the opportunities and the things around you, the energy around you, the people in your life, those things that you just couldn't see before. And once again, that's totally okay. It's totally okay because we don't always see all the things directly in front of us. It takes a little bit of time to do it. But when it does feel like magic. Because it's like, oh my gosh, I'm seeing things like truly the way they are for the first time. Like, and I'm discovering things about myself that I forgot. I forgot these things about myself, or I just never realized it as a real strength of mine, and that stuff is super magical because you're just utilizing everything you're already born with, already stuff that's part of you. Like, it's you. You're just now using it and recognizing it.
Yes, it's already inside of you. Anybody who's out there, it's like you're wondering. It's like it's already inside you. It's about that discovery process.
Yeah, and it's not to sound all new agey and stuff like that, but I'm telling you, this isn't new agey stuff. This is just truth. I mean, we as human beings are equipped with everything that we need to survive and be successful. We have what we need. We have brains. We can go obtain knowledge. We can get, we can learn things. We can manifest our thoughts into actions. And on top of that, we're blessed with the power of choice.
Yes. Yes. And this idea of, there's a lot of vernacular out there. What you want to call it woo-woo, you want to call it new age, whatever. But I think, look, there's no doubt when people hear you, Chris, they know that it comes from not a place of this just toxic positivity, but from a place of, like, you've been there, you've traveled the road, you know how to get through it, like that the consistency and the persistence are part of the ingredients. And I think one of the things I love about your story, and I'd love to dig into more, right, is that, look, you started a business, but you didn't have a business background, right? And I think that people limit themselves, right? Myself included, when we tell ourselves we're supposed to have these things. This is supposed to be the path. This is the path that others have laid for us, and then that's how you get this shit done,
Right.
which isn't true at all. So I'd love to hear more about, like, did that ever, like, did that pop up for you at different stages in building a business to say, oh shit, I don't, like, because you did it, you learned as you went, right? And you got what you needed when you needed it. You didn't have to go get a degree to do it. You figured it out, which is totally
I
valid.
mean, there's definitely a lot of oh shit moments and like, what the hell are we doing? And like, why are we doing this? Like, wh- like, I was tons of those moments, but that's
Mm,
where we learned very early on, like really having like a mastermind group of people around you
mm,
that you can call on.
mm,
And that was one of the first mentors Mark and I ever had. He told us that, like, you have to develop a mastermind group. Consider me part of your group, but develop a mastermind group. And they don't have to be the people in the same industry as you. They don't even have to really be truly in business, but they're people you could turn to when you need the clarity, the advice, the knowledge to move on to the next thing, to go through those rough parts that you're going to have in your
mm.
as you go along your business journey. And believe me, there's hundreds of them that happen. I mean, every step you take is just going to be faced with another another challenge, but that doesn't mean they're bad. It's just part of growth. I mean,
Right.
growing up and living life is a challenge. Like, walking outside the door is a challenge. I mean, we're living living through a pandemic right now, and it's been a challenge, but like we've all, you know, risen to it, and we've all helped each other out, and that's a true testament
Yeah.
right there to things. Like, we've all learned how to survive, and some people even like really, really thrive, during this. And, there have been some positives that come out of, something that's affected us as a global community. But yeah, those challenges are real, and I did not have a roadmap. I did not have anything planned out. I mean, we took it as it came. We used our instinct. We trusted our gut, and when we got stuck, we asked for help, or we went
Right.
and we tried to we gained the knowledge. And it was a lot of mistakes made, but we learned from those mistakes, and then we're just better the next time around. Um, you know, I mean, in the business, doing all that, sure, would it have been valuable? Like, I guess, but at the same time, I don't know. Like, I often think, like, how I was describing it to you. Like, and this is something I actually do want to write a book about in a way, but I do want to say it's like, for me, going through like punk rock and hardcore was like my version of business school. It was like the punk rock business
Yeah,
school. Like,
totally.
that
Yeah.
was my 4 years of school in that sense. And I went to school, but I went to school for filmmaking. And believe
Right.
me, they don't teach you anything about business and in the
Right.
filmmaking world. That, it's like, here's how you do this. Now go create. Like, you learn how to become a
Right.
better creator, but definitely nothing about being a business person. That's knowledge you just got to go out and go get. And so that's what we did. And we leaned on each other, and we leaned on our network, and we learned, and we listened, and we made mistakes, and we took risks, and some things paid off, some things didn't. We failed, we succeeded, but even in failures, there's success. Like,
Yeah.
that's how you have to look at it. I mean, you could be paralyzed by failure, but failure is just a product of doing things, and failure should not be celebrated in our culture as a or looked at. I'm sorry, failure shouldn't be looked at as like you're a complete waste. Like, you're garbage, you failed, oh god. Like, no, failure has to be looked at as like, hey, you tried something, like, kudos. And yeah, while you quote unquote failed, what did you learn?
Yeah, and I often talk about, like, I think we use the word failure far too much. And
Yeah.
if you look at the origins of that word, it actually comes from the financial system. Um, but I think that it's like, to me, I like to think about it as learning forward. Where is it that we really see true failure versus learning forward? And I think that, you know, this society, right? It says, okay, here is the box, and this is how you play in that box. And but we have to question, right? Those four walls that were given, right? Because even I think, and this is part of my experience, is like, okay, I may go and I may get these tools and I may learn these boxes, but if I'm not careful, if I just play by those rules of that box, I'm limiting myself and I'm limiting what's possible.
Right.
So I will off, I remember like, having to create decks or having whatever project. It's like, I don't want to see the example. I don't want to see what was done in the past because that will restrict me in terms of like how I can do it in the way that honors my superpowers and my way of thinking. And so I think that, you know, when you can really honor yourself and say, I can do it my way, and I don't need to put these other barriers in front of myself, which I think people do oftentimes. They're like, oh, I want to shift careers and be a personal branding coach. Oh, that means I got to go do these things. No, you fucking don't. You don't have to do any of that shit. Like it's within you already, I mean,
It's exactly, yes.
yeah, it's like, so it's like I don't know how you think about it, but when we start to hear the word should or I need to, it's like a huge indication of like some inner critic, giving you some bullshit line that's not true. you know.
No, exactly. Yeah, and I mean, and that's the thing, and like I said, if there's anything that the big thing that I learned, like going through, like being involved in the whole music scene and all that, was just that, like, don't ask permission for shit. Like, literally, just do it
Right.
because no one else is gonna know. Maybe you'll get asked by somebody else to like, hey, do a band or something, but like. But if you want to make music a certain way, to go do it. If you want to go sell records at shows, go do it. You want to put a show on, just go do it. If you want to publish a zine on your own and like, print it out and get it, go Xerox and then pass it out. I mean, this is what was going on. You could do that. Nobody is stopping you from doing any of this stuff. And much like what we're talking about here, no one is stopping you from starting a business or going to do the things that you want to do. Like, you should just do them, because if anything, that we've all learned is that life is way too fucking short, and time is the one thing we never get back. Like once it's gone, it's spent, that's it. And and now, we have to do with what we have left and where we're at. Like I'd rather spend it trying to, not even trying, but going after things that make me happy, doing the things that make me happy and fulfilled at the end of the day, than the things that do not. And
I'm into that.
because that's it. I mean, we're only, and we believe whatever you want to believe. That's fine. But like what I have now, what I'm given, I'm trying to do the best I can with the time I have, and I'm trying to live a very happy life. And if I can help other people along that journey, that's what I want to do. And I'm doing it. And I'm doing it. So I'm not living in a McMansion somewhere or anything like that. I'm not driving my my Lamborghini and taking pictures on Instagram and saying, hey, if you come coaching with me, you too can have you too can have this Lamborghini like me in just 90 days. Like that's that ain't me. It's just not me at all. Like all I can say is like if you work with me or you work with somebody like yourself, that we're going to show you the best tools that we know possible to help you achieve the things that you want to achieve. And that's what we can offer.
Such sage counsel, and I think that that I just lost my train of thought. I know, that when we were talking before in preparation for this, right? You talked about like that roadmap, and I'd love for you to share that because I thought it was so powerful, especially in an age where people just think. I think some people are just like, if I just can go viral, if I could just, tomorrow have 1 million whatever, and, Oprah watches my shit, which is like, okay, good luck with that strategy. But can you talk about do you know what process I'm talking about? That when you start a band, like, what do you do when you start a band, and like, what is that, what does that look like?
Yeah, well, I mean, it's like there's some ways you can go do that. So, for instance, like I mean, a lot of times, like for me, I'll share what I did. Like, I mean, when I started a band, we got together and we learned a bunch of cover songs, and that was way back in high school, and we learned how to play some cover tunes, because we wanted to be in a band, and we're like, well, we don't really know how to write music, but we'll learn these songs, and we learned those songs and we played them, and by doing those songs, we learned how to play, we learned how to get better. Then eventually you start other bands, and and maybe, or the same band, and you begin to do cover songs, but maybe you start to rearrange them or do different arrangements of them because, you're getting more comfortable and you want to start doing different versions. Then eventually you're starting to write original songs and maybe you're slipping those into your set. Then eventually, before you know it, you're doing all original tunes. And then maybe you're doing the one cover song that you still love and it gets the audience going because you love playing it and they love hearing it. And it's a great way to like end the night on such a positive note, and that's sort of like how I view things. I have this like mentality of that is like, listen, when you start off on things, you may copy or imitate or be heavily influenced by those before you. But eventually you start finding your own way, your own voice, and then you start picking and choosing the things that influence you and putting that. And I think that's true for any creator or anybody out there. Like filmmaking is the same thing. Like, you're influenced by Wes Anderson, George Lucas, Steven Spielberg, and you start doing things that are like, wow, that's really like, seems like this. But then you do find your own footing, your own creative voice or whatever it is, and you start making it your own. You start owning it. And now that's what you are. That's what you're known for. That's the type of music you play or the kinds of films you create or the business you run or the way you look on Instagram, but whatever it is, like that's then how the process goes. And everybody is capable of doing that. You could just play covers forever and that's cool too. Like, but maybe you play those cover songs differently than how that band plays cover songs. Maybe you do it more traditional. Maybe you slip in a little bit more of your personality or your style to that song. Like you bring a different flavor or reimagining of that song. Like there's so many ways you can go with that. And that's, think about restaurants. Restaurants are great. Like, how many Italian restaurants have you been to? But every Italian restaurant is not really like the other or, any of them. Like, because why? Because, yeah, they were influenced, but they're now doing their thing, their version of it. And that's true for anything.
I love that. When I think about my business and I think, and I think that's so true, right? Because sure, I have some original thoughts, but I have fallen into the trap of using like language that's out there, but it's not really my language, right? It's just a vernacular, and it takes time to then say like, all right, like how do I talk about authenticity without like fucking using the same language and like which I don't know, I'm still working on that, but you've inspired me about like that everything we're talking about is about finding your truth, being yourself, and honoring, what it is you want to share. And if we hold ourselves back by perfectionism, or if we hold ourselves back because we say, well, it's all been done, those are all lies because it hasn't been done the way that you will do it, and it hasn't been said the way that you will say it.
Exactly. There's one thing to be said about quality and maintaining quality and things like that, and being very aware of that. That's a big difference. The other side of it is, yes, it'll never be perfect. It'll never be done. Why? Because you're creating it. There's no way about it. Like that's it. It'll never be perfect. You just got to get out there and you're going to start doing it. And if you want to get better at something, you're going to naturally get better. Whether that's posting pictures on Instagram or writing posts and content, right, or making videos or doing podcasts, all these things. Like, look what we're doing right now. Like, this is as simple as it gets. Just two people having a conversation on live on Instagram. Nothing high quality about this, but like we're just talking, we're having a conversation, people are watching in, and we're delivering content, talking about the things that like drive us and the things that fuel us, the things that we're into. Like, that's as easy as it can be, and I think that, but the more you do it, the better you'll get. Like, the more I do things like this, the better I'll get. Next time, I'll have a tripod set up so I'm not sitting here holding it the whole time. Because I was trying to get my little thing set up and it broke. And I'm like, oh, well, I got to go live. Forget it. I guess I'm just holding it. But next time I'll be a little more prepared than I was.
Oh, but it's so dynamic. I'm like, oh, there's movement. It's like, it's great. I'm like, I should hold mine. See how that goes? Yeah, like, and I'm curious, in terms of like the impact that you want to have on the world and the legacy that you want to have now that you've changed course a little bit to helping other people in what they want for themselves. I'd love to hear about, yeah, what is it that makes your heart sing about that? And also, I want to touch on this BS detector that you have to help people in their journeys.
Well, so, I mean, I mean, I guess it's the real question is what does success mean for me in that way? And it's like, I just, my goal is, I know it sounds like whatever, but I mean, it is. I truly want to help people. And for me, the thing that gets me jazzed is when I'm talking to somebody and you can see them make the connection. Like you see them get it. It's the magic we were talking about, right? That the world begins to like look a little bit different to them than it was at the start of our conversation. And that to me is like nothing warms my soul more than seeing that. And then when they go, geez, thank you so much. Because when I got on this call, I didn't even want to talk to you. I'm like, I was like, I don't want to talk to a coach, but I did this and man, I am so happy that I did this. Like this just changed the way, I feel about things, the way I look at things, or just changed the course of my day. And like that stuff is awesome to hear. Like, like that is just to me, that's the win. Like that's for me, that's the win. That's what I want to hear. So if I could affect that on people like every day, then man, I'm doing something right and I'm feeling good about things because I'm like that's my goal. So I'm achieving my goal. Um, as far as the bullshit detector goes, I just think it's a little bit of an intuition and a little bit of hearing things and just calling people out, like not to be a dick about it, but it's just calling some people out on some of the things they're saying and like making them become honest with themselves. Like, because the thing is, I've been there and I've done it and I've been called out and you need that. You need somebody who can like do that because if you're telling me one thing but you're doing the complete opposite, like I know you're full of shit. Like because there's absolutely no way you're gonna get there by doing what you're doing. Like you're not being honest with yourself. You're not being honest. If you can't even be honest with me, how can you be honest with yourself? And who am I? Like I'm just Chris. Like like it's not. So that's the thing. Like be honest with yourself first and foremost, and don't worry so much about trying to BS people or convince people of certain things. Like you're either doing it or you're not. Like that's it. And if you want to do it, go do it. But stop telling everybody you're going to go do it. Like, because at some point it's like, I don't want to hear it anymore. Like, don't talk to me about this anymore. Do it or don't.
Yeah, stop fucking around. Yeah, this concept of like calling out the power, about like just do it, right? Like, and sometimes people need that. Some people need a fucking kick in the ass and say get, come on, get off your laurels, quit, making up excuses and just follow your fucking dream. It's that simple, again, no magic bullet, but it's that simple. When you make the commitment to yourself and your truth, then the unfolding can begin.
Huge difference between sitting and thinking and mapping things out and thinking about these moves. Because, by the way, sitting and thinking is doing, by the way. So don't ever think for 1 second that just you sitting and thinking about what you want to do or how you want to do it isn't the real work. Guess what? It's actually most all the work. So, because it all starts with that. So that is work. But there's a big difference between doing that and just walking around and saying, I'm going to do it. Because you can walk around and say you're going to do it all you want. But, okay, what have you done? Well, I said I'm going to do. Okay, great. What else have you done? Have you thought about it? Have you written anything down? Have you even written down the fact that you even want to do this? Have you even said, I want to create blah, 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 or I want to drive my RV all over the United States? And I'm like, have you even written that down? Like, that's a starting place. Like, that's even doing something. I mean, the most basic version of it, but at least that's doing something. So, yeah, I mean, that's the bullshit right there. Like, you can walk around and say you're doing this all you want. And, yeah, I'm in a band. And, okay, so what music? Well, I'm not really in a band, but I play. Oh, cool. So you play music? Well, I think about playing music. Oh, you think about playing music. Like I play the guitar. Oh, cool, you play guitar. Well, I think about playing the guitar. Okay, so you've thought about it. So what are you doing? Well, I'm just thinking about it. Like, like that's, I mean, this applies for like anything that you can do. Like, listen, I said I want to write a book, right? So what am I doing? Like, well, if you ask me, I talked to and I've talked about it for a while, and I got called out on it. Thank God. and now I'm putting thoughts into actions. I'm practicing what I preach. You know, my great friend, and I'll name her here because she's freaking amazing, is my friend Sasha Perlman of Revolver Events. She's awesome, and she's written a book, and she's been helping me begin to take the steps in the process to begin putting a book together. I know it's going to take a long time to do. I'm not in a rush to do it, but I'm taking the steps to do it, and she's given me, because I didn't know how to do it, and I told her, and she's like, all right, well, I'm going to hold you accountable. And so now I have an accountability buddy who's helping me do it. So I'm putting thoughts into actions. I'm taking my own medicine here, because she called me out and called me bullshit on it. She was like, you've been talking about this. What have you done? Nothing. Good. Do you want to do this? Yes. Well, this is how you should do it. And then now it's up to me to decide whether I'm going to follow through, and I'm following through.
Oh my God. I love it. I love it. Taking your own medicine. This has been, like, Chris, such a joy, such a pleasure. I think that for those watching now and later, I know that it's going to strike a chord with the audience, because, you shared such great wisdom, and thank you for sharing about your journey and all of this. And, I'd love if there was anything we didn't cover that you want to share. And also, how can people get a hold of you so that they can hire you as their bullshit detector and personal branding coach, so they can make their dreams come true?
Yeah. No, awesome. Thank you. Well, first of all, I just want to say thank you so much for having me on. Like, this was so wonderful. I had so much fun. I'm so appreciative of this opportunity. So I appreciate you, and I appreciate everybody who's been watching and popping on and off. You guys are all amazing, and I hope people who watch the replay of this will find value in this discussion today. So I'm pretty easy to find. Of course, you can hit me up here on Instagram. And actually, if you go to my bio, what I'm actually doing right now until June 7th is I'm offering free 1-hour coaching sessions for people who want it from personal branding perspective. And you can just click the link in my bio. It's RIGA coaching.com, and it'll take you right to my calendar link, where you can set up a 1-hour session with me, just answer a few questions, and we'll have a free session together.
Holy shit, free hour. That's so generous, guys. Take him up on that. I might schedule myself with you.
Yeah, and at the end of that hour, if you feel like you want to do more work together, then great. And I've got some options that may work for you, and if not, that's cool too. And hopefully you'll gain a little traction out of our time together. But yeah, that's probably the best thing I can say right now. Of course, you can find me at rockitgrowthagency.com. That's ROCKIT growthagency.com, and same thing for Instagram. I also do a podcast, which you can find on all podcast platforms, and a live stream show I do every Tuesday at 4 p.m. So I have one happening today at 4 p.m., which can be watched on LinkedIn, YouTube, and Facebook. So
awesome. And what's the name of your podcast?
So the podcast right now is so original. It's called the Rocket Growth Agency Podcast. I'm still working on the name, but the live show is called Rocket Live. So I'm still working that out, sort of a thing that I was doing for fun and sort of turned into something now. So it's a work in progress for sure, but the interviews are great, and it's just I interview.
And you're taking your own advice, right? You just put it out there and say, I'll get better and better. I love it. Practicing what you preach, Chris. I love it.
I'll figure it out as I go. It's not, it's more important to me that the content that people find value in the conversations I'm having, and hopefully it, changes the course of someone's day after they hear it.
Yeah, no doubt it will, and it does. So great, so awesome. Many ways to keep in touch and hear your beautiful perspective on the world and building sustainable businesses, and I really appreciate this, and thank you for your kind words, and I look forward to more collaborations for sure in the future.
Oh, absolutely. Looking forward to it. I know we're going to get you on the Rocket Live show soon enough.
Yeah, I'm excited for that, for sure. So, yeah, thanks to everyone watching now and later, and we'll see you soon. Ciao for now. Rock out. Bye.